Ladies and gentlemen, the governor is now a billionaire, and I can't believe it. It's amazing. I came over to the United States of America, and I achieved the American dream. All I had to do was sell out my dignity and everything that made me likable during the 80s and 90s. It's amazing. It's fantastic. Now listen, I'm a gigantic Arnie fan, okay? You can see right over there, okay? It's what I see every day when I come into this room to record. I've got the Encyclopedia of Modern Bodybuilding. I've got Total Recall, my unbelievably true life story. I've done multiple videos extolling the virtues that I think that even goofy-ass modern-day Arnold Schwarzenegger used to embody back in good old days, as opposed to the rhetoric that he has been spewing more recently. So this is not somebody coming in with an axe to grind. This is just one of those situations where it's like, for as much as I like the guy, it's a real life example of separating the art from the artist. At the beginning of the year, actually for Christmas, I ended up getting his newest book. What is that? The seven tools for life. Okay, be useful. I think that's the byline of it over there. I can kind of see it on the bookshelf. And in that book right there, it starts off with the defense of one of his most divisive speeches. After everything that went down on January 6th at the Capitol, I thought the best thing that I could do was sit down and address the American people by taking out my Conan sword and threatening them. I thought that would be the best thing to do. And he tried to justify that. It ended up working out well for him. But I guess when you're pandering and you're on a financial track to billionaire status, you'll do some questionable things. The movie star has played many roles in his 76 years. Bodybuilder, box office star, bureaucrat, and now billionaire. There aren't many movies as action-packed as Arnold Schwarzenegger's actual life. Exactly. Born to a poor family in tiny Austrian village of Vows, where he later discovered his father had been a member of his we don't want to talk about that. The Terminator and kindergarten cap star used his muscles and charm to be crowned Mr. Universe 4 times. Alright, yeah, and then Mr. Olympia 7 times. I don't know why you'd go with Mr. Universe, but okay, whatever. 76-year-old is now worth $1 billion according to Forbes estimates. Yeah, how did he end up getting to that? Okay, the Hollywood actor is the latest in a wave of entertainers to successfully capitalize on their stardom. 2024 World Billionaires list identified 14 celebrities who have cashed in at 10-figure fortunes, including Taylor Swift, Dick Wolf, Law & Order creator. That makes sense. Comedian Jerry Seinfeld. Really? Schwarzenegger is the second actor to join the ranks after Tyler Perry. Okay, who's best known for his Medea franchise. Yeah, it's worth an estimated $1.4 billion. But Schwarzenegger took a different path to riches, one that comes primarily from smart investing, not just acting. See, this is why I like Arnold, man. He says a lot of dumb things, but he's also, one of the best examples of how an immigrant can come to a country, totally embody everything that it means to be a citizen of said country, rise to the highest ranks possible, and achieve what would be perceived to be the unachievable. That's what makes him so great, at least in my opinion. Schwarzenegger moved to the United States in '68 and initially struggled to secure roles because of his thick accent. Churned out around 50 films, made $5.5 billion at the box office. He pocketed roughly $500 million from his movies, according to Forbes estimates, in part thanks to the way that he structured his deals. Yes, and again, very smart guy. And this is a story, that was in the 7 Tools for Life, whatever. When studio executives hesitated to make his first comedy, Twins, he starred with Danny DeVito. Schwarzenegger agreed to forego a salary, pocketing nearly 20% to the gross receipts instead. Exactly. We just need, I think it was $9 million. That's all we need to make this. Trust me, I think we have something really good here. I'll just take percentage at the end. Don't worry about it. No upfront. Don't have to pay me Terminator money. Don't have to pay me Conan money. None of that. And yes, the 1988 movie became a blockbuster, and it ultimately netted over $35 million. What a strange contrast that is. In 1988, a $35 million box office haul was considered a blockbuster. Now, you can't even get a quarter of a film shot at certain studios for $35 million. It'll make you about 3 Godzilla minus ones. He also made millions more from product endorsements and commercials like Agent State Farm, Cameo in 2024 Super Bowl. Didn't hear about that one, but okay. But according to his Forbes estimates, about 65% of all his entertainment earnings go to taxes and fees, like paying his agents, managers, lawyer, and more, leaving him with closer to $170 million after tax. Yeah, and even if he is in California, he's still going to have some tax loopholes that he can take advantage of because, smart investing, that'll get you to billionaire status. Even if you only make $500 million, So yeah, it's the way that the wealthy stay wealthy, by the way. They do smart investments in the stock market and especially in real estate. Is that when you take a look at the billionaire list, it's an overwhelming majority of said billionaires, they make their wealth through real estate. There's only a couple of Warren Buffetts, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk types. Most of those guys that you've never heard of in your entire life in the 10-digit club own more doors than you can count or exist in your local neighborhood. But I say all that to say this, because as much of a, goofy dude as Arnold has become in recent years, you can't quite throw away everything that he says, okay? You just kind of have to pick and choose, because if you remember, there was a certain thing that he was saying back in the cut about screw ya freedoms, but comparing and contrast that with, accountability is discrimination. Arnold Schwarzenegger faces major backlash from fans over his recent Path of Hate message. What are you talking about, Arnold? 7-time Mr. Olympia champion Arnold Schwarzenegger has been a great role model for youth across the globe for over the past 5 decades. However, over the years, the 75-year-old has faced backlash for his words and actions. Most recent backlash came on Instagram when he shared a set of posts promoting his Path of Hate message. Arnie's most recent post faced severe backlash from fans, as one of them wrote, "Just remember, accountability is discrimination, responsibility is oppression in today's world." Yeah, that message right there, talking about how people will just go ahead and shirk responsibility for anything, who will just simply try to pass the buck instead of owning what they did. Good message. Okay, it's a little funny when you take everything in totality. Okay, some advice if your response to a video about fighting prejudice is, what about the blank group you don't like? I want to try this exercise, not just today, but every day. Anytime you start, what about, stop yourself and change the question. What about me? What have you done to improve yourself or your community? You can't control anyone else, you can't control yourself, and discovering that power is going to make your life much, much better. That's a message that I can 100% get behind. But then, of course, you end up contrasting that with a set of fans brought up Arnie's earlier remarks on freedom of speech. Screw ya freedom. Arnold, to people who didn't want to take part in a trial experiment, but yeah, cool story, bro. Try screwing your freedoms. I love that people who are still trying to cancel Arnie are still following him and commenting and creating more engagement on his posts. Yeah, he said something that's stupid. Not everybody's infallible. There are pearls of wisdom that are out there. It's just sometimes those pearls kind of covered in shit, especially when it comes to some of his more idiotic endeavors. Can we go with that? Schwarzenegger, climate change dialogue not going to work. It's like, yeah, because it depends on whose metrics we're looking at. What even is climate change in today's day and age? Because I can go ahead and talk about, summer from my perspective in my neck of the woods. This weekend is the first time in a long time where we've had consecutive days at or above 20 degrees. Here, the first weekend of July. We have yet to hit 30 this year, and that's normally something that is very common. It has been abnormally damp, raining at least 2 to 3 times a week. Not complaining on that one because the rain is normally very helpful. But even last year, where we had our hottest days in May and April, the year before that, it's like we haven't had excessively hot summers or mild winters. For the past 5 or 6 years, we've had weeks or week-long stretches. It was about 2 weeks this year when it was about 40 to 50 below. But don't try to tell me about climate change, global boiling, the climate crisis. It just doesn't really seem to pan out, especially when you have the people that are comparing and contrasting certain weather reports of said reporters going in front of their green screens going, look at how hot it is. Oh my God, it's going to be 25 degrees in the middle of July. And then you got something from like 5 years ago where you got green sections over where the new red ones are. So it's like, your whole climate scheme, I don't really know if it's working out all that well. Actor and former California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger said the traditional climate change dialogue is not going to work anymore, particularly when it comes to high polluting countries. Say China. Schwarzenegger joined MSNBC's Jonathan Lemaire, on Thursday to discuss clean energy and climate solutions, something that he is very heavily invested in. See, it's a very lucrative business. Lemaire asked the Terminator star how he would try to reach bigger polluters such as China, and India. Oh, there you go, the 2 big ones, and warn them of climate change effects. Well, I think that there is always been obstacles. I think it all has to do with communication. You're not wrong. It's just good luck trying to, guilt China into putting scrubbers on their smokestacks. And, well, the moment India can figure out indoor plumbing, you might be able to start to have the conversation. Former governor, who has been an avid exercise advocate, said in the past there is a major global push for fitness and living a healthy lifestyle. And now every school, hotel, and police station has a gymnasium. Same thing needs to happen with climate, he argued. We want to do the same thing here. I think this whole climate change dialogue is not going to work. I think this has to be used. I think this has been used for the last few decades. I think we should address it directly, what it is, which is pollution. Okay, I want to terminate the pollution. There's a message that we should get out there. But if that's as bold as you're going to be with your strategy, I can understand why you aren't necessarily looked upon as being, the best politician of all time. Arguably the greatest bodybuilder of all time, but somebody whose political instincts aren't quite up to snuff. So yes, once again, Arnie's right that the climate change dialogue is not going to work. He's also right when it comes to personal accountability. And if you just go ahead and do what he does, you can double, triple, quadruple your wealth, or hell, even become a billionaire if you play all of your cards right. But sometimes you got to take a look at the source and compare it to the message, because that's what we have right here. Somebody who preaches good work and then kind of ends up undercutting, there we go, their message. Here I am recording and talking about somebody who has one of the most famous accents of all time, and I can't even adequately articulate my points, so I'll just go ahead and cut it off there. Arnie, you're an inspiration, one of my personal heroes, but if you could just go ahead and figure out the rest of your message, it'd probably be a lot better for everybody. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.